Sure, man. And by the way, I forgot to do that. But just as a rewind for recording purposes, this is for YouTube and other purposes, Q. We have talked about matchups that we love to see and that we're looking forward to. And so we definitely looking forward to the Grizzlies and Timberwolves on this podcast, the Nets and Celtics, seeing how Luka respond or his team without him, and just seeing how the Warriors respond without Steph. But then when he come back, how it will impact this MVP race, because I think it might have an implication. And we didn't mention the Bulls, by the way. So with that being said, we are Bulls fans, though. And Ian last week was very optimistic. Jamar on the page has been very optimistic, see red, etc. And so I'm optimistic just a little bit. And so, yeah, these are the things we talked about. We got Q on here, Rhino Apps. And so, yeah, speaking of Q, did you see that celebration, bro? Like, did you see what happened with Patrick Beverly and Timberwolves this past week?
Yeah, I did. I did. I think without Patrick Beverly, the Timberwolves may not go. They might not have gotten there or even go further than where they are now.
Playoffs.
Yeah, he's he does the intangibles. So like say, he might not score a bunch of points, but he's like one of them throwback players, some old Detroit Pistons or type of players. He'll get in your head. Here it's almost like if you ever been in sales, sometimes you have morning sales meetings and you got one person just drinking a bunch of coffee and just, getting people
Right.
excited. And sometimes some people need that to pump them up a little bit, because when I look at the Timberwolves or some of these players, they're kind of lethargic. They going through the motions. Everybody's getting some money, but they're not emotional type of player that's like that's excited to play. They have the skill set, but they're not ready to go. He gets them pumped up in the locker room, obviously on the court. He does a little small things. So I think that's what they needed, because they would never have gotten there without that. So, but it was funny. It was funny, and I don't know if he had too much coffee that day or too much Red Bulls or something, but he was ready. He was ready to go. So
Yeah, yeah. Knowing Pat Beverly, it's probably likely Jamar. He ain't had no damn coffee yet.
Yeah,
That's just how
nothing.
he is. That's like that's just how he is. Q. Like he's like that way all the time. Like I was pumped up in charge. I was ready to go hit a full sprint after his interview on Get Up, and what was the other one? The NBA show that come on during the daytime. So he was on there and he had an interview with Kendrick Perkins, Richard Jefferson, and all them. And so they was all cracking up and stuff too. And so yeah, and think about it, guys. Minnesota, right? Only been to the playoffs once, right? They got, pretty much manhandled in that playoff series a few years back. That's with Jimmy Butler and those guys. Um, haven't been there since. Young team. You guys remember what happened in Minnesota with George Floyd? A lot of that unrest that occurred up there. It's been various police shootings, etc. So it's been a lot going on with that area in regards to that. And you look at it and you got them in the playoffs, and so they were kind of needing something. Like no disrespect to Kirk Cousins and the Minnesota Vikings, and what like Jamar like to say is Mr. Empty Calories, but they haven't achieved much on the football field. They had the NFC Championship in 2017. But they just let go Mike Zimmer. You got the Minnesota Wild. They ain't doing much. The Minnesota Gophers in the Big Ten ain't much of a relevancy. And so you got the Timberwolves who kind of just giving them something to be excited about, like in that area. And so they showed up. The stadium was like, it reminded me of Memphis Stadium in so many ways. And so I don't think it's damn near talking about home court. It's going to be definitely a home court for both teams on both courts. And so shout out to Patrick Beverly, because he is a Chicago guy. We hold Chicago down here on this podcast. So I found it all of the above too, Jamar. I felt him. I understood, totally understood. He gave his heart and soul to the Clippers. And they did what they did. They let his stock get up, say, hey, we in the conference finals for the first time. We can let him go now. Somebody's going to want him. But also on top of that, they didn't want to give him the money he wanted. And he was like, you know, I know what you guys gonna do. I done built my stock up, helped you guys get to the conference final. I helped you all these years. But they like, hey, we want to get some other pieces. And so that's where the disconnect came. And so, yeah, I felt them. On the other hand, I found it hilarious. He was fined, y'all, by the NBA. And he was fined because he let out a whole bunch of cuss words on various occasions. It wasn't because he threw the jersey. It wasn't because he stood in the crowd. It wasn't because he cried on the court. It wasn't because he hugged and they popped champagne. It was the cuss words and all that other stuff. And so he was fined and everything. And so I totally feel him. They made the news. They had their moment. And now the plan on the course gets started, y'all. And so, yes. All right. Let's talk about the Bulls real quick, y'all. Ian last week was very optimistic. Jamar, he stated basically in real terms that the Bulls, he want to see them do well, but in his sports analysis of covering sports, he kind of know. And so he doesn't feel they have much of a chance. And so Q, how do you feel, man? Like, you know, we do know that with a God, all things are possible. And so with God, all things are possible. Amen. And so Q, with that, with the fact that with God, all things are possible. How do you feel about this Bulls and Bucks series?
I may give Bulls maybe one game, maybe, you know, maybe one game, but I don't see it going.
That's it, man. Not 4.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough, man. Like, they got some, you know, Milwaukee. It's a smaller type of city with, you know, with a big team.
I'm tired of Milwaukee owning us, Q. I'm sorry, but I'm ticked off, man. Because we already at war with Green Bay, right? These the ops, Q. We already at war with Green Bay. And now you're telling me we got Milwaukee Bucks who trying to punk us too. Now I don't like this, man.
Yeah, it's a hard pill to swallow, but until the Bulls, I think they're a couple players away from you know, maybe, you know, going deeper in. But right now, them playing I would have gave them a better chance if they would play the Celtics or even the Nets. But you know, you going against Milwaukee, it's tough. Milwaukee, I got probably coming out the East, so I mean it's tough to say that, but they seem like just the better. They got the momentum. They always seem to catch momentum. You know, when it's the right time, and that's really what matters. It's more in sports.
Sure, man. Yep. And so yeah, we'll see y'all. The Bulls tip off tomorrow evening. And so speaking of Q, I think you've given us your Eastern Conference picks. And so Jamar has the Milwaukee Bucks. Ian, you got the Milwaukee Bucks, right? Coming out the East?
Yeah, I got the Bucks too.
I'm rolling with the Nets, although Lord, the defensive, it's tough. But if they get Ben Simmons back, I'm gonna be happy because I'm really happy. Yeah. Because even if he's like 50-60% of his playing ability, he will have a huge impact on the defensive end, and he can stick at least the second or third best player on the other teams. For sure. And so I'm loving that. He will be back in the first round. And so I'm rolling with the Nets. And Q, you like the Bucks, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with the Bucks.
I don't blame y'all because I feel like if they play the Bucks will expose Ben Simmons. It'll be a difference, right? It'll be a difference in like, okay, you playing maybe the Celtics without Robert Williams. Maybe you can expose Jason Tatum or, whatchamacallit, Jaylen Brown in that first round. But against the Bucks, it's going to be really, really hard because I don't know a player in the NBA that can stick Giannis Antetokounmpo. I don't know a player in NBA history that can probably stick him. What do y'all think? I don't know if anybody in NBA history. What, you gonna put Shaq on? What you gonna put Ben Wallace on him from the Pistons? What you gonna put Scottie Pippen?
I don't think Ben Wallace would do a bad job. I'm not saying that he will stop him. I don't think he would do too bad job.
Right. And it's crazy because Giannis is kind of getting a jump shot. And if he get that, we both been saying on this podcast, Jamar, since we started and even prior to, that if he develops a jump shot, it's curtains for the league.
Yeah, agree.
You know? And now, go ahead, Q.
He's a different, that's why I call him the freak. He's a different type of player. He's strong. You know, he can run up and down the court. He got good handle. He got basketball IQ. I mean, he got the package. He's still young. He got probably even his full potential yet. So, so it's hard to stop him. Like, only thing if you're talking about in the past, if he would have to stop some of the other players, older players, like if you put Shaq on him, he might get in foul trouble, or you put Akeem Olajuwon on him or something, he might go get in foul trouble. But on the other end, it'll be hard for them to stay with him too. So, it's one of those things.
Yeah.
True. That's the one way, like you mentioned, like to try to get him in foul trouble, get him out the game. You about to say something, Jamar?
Yeah, I was just gonna add on to that. And then the real X factor is he got that quote unquote Mamba mentality. Like he just doesn't quit. He doesn't want to be friends with anybody. He comes at you. He's relentless. The attitude is like half the battle right there. He already got the skill set. He has the attitude for it. That's what makes it scary. Just like you said, he haven't even hit his peak yet. That's scary to even think about. This man is dominating the league just by hitting the paint. Just wait till everything else develops. You see him doing turnaround fadeaway jumpers on the baseline, post game starting to get there, mid range is there. It's scary, man. Like we've been saying, Brandon. Curtains are coming. It's coming for real.
Curtain call.
And I think, right, like, we in the NBA, and really the two best players in the league, or the three, are international. Giannis, Joker, and Embiid. These guys don't come from the United States. And so just to see how the basketball game is growing internationally, it's amazing. On the other hand, y'all, Frank Nazis, good morning. Frank stated Pat Bev mom drank too much coffee before he was born. His blood is made of coffee. So, yeah, man. Thank you for that take, Frank. This is part of the energy of Patrick Beverly. And so that makes sense, man. I mean, you kind of broke that down for us. And so, yeah, man, Giannis now, he's hitting that, he's hitting a portion of that scrap, fellas. And so it's going to be really interesting, man. I truly, truly hope y'all to see the Nets and Bucks in the playoffs again. I know who would win, but I made my pick, damn it. So I got to stick with it at this point. And so, we'll see though, man, because maybe KD this time, when, y'all notice, he been shooting that 3-pointer, he actually looking down. He actually looking down at the 3-point line this time. So making sure you don't make that mistake, making sure you don't make that. I'm telling you. So, yeah. Well, fellas, that covers our portion of basketball and hooping this morning for the NBA playoffs. Get started today, y'all, this afternoon. So looking forward to it. But let's talk some baseball. I see my brothers here. Got your Sox hat on in. Jamar, you got your Sox shirt on. I wore my gray intentionally for my Sox. And Q, you are an avid baseball fan. And this is what we do on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, everybody. We don't necessarily always have to talk NFL every week, basketball every week, this and that. We can talk some other stuff, some baseball, some soccer, some tennis, some golf. And so we are focusing on some baseball this morning. And so, Jamar, if you could, bro, can you tag Chris? But maybe they already tagged Chris and Jonathan. Hopefully they get a chance to come on. But yes, so Q, we got some questions for baseball. And maybe you can help answer some of us too. But let's first start with our picks for AL MVP and NL MVP. And so we got a lot of budding superstars in baseball, y'all. We got a lot of guys that's playing great baseball right now. And the way you looking at things, I mean, we could either have some repeat MVPs or we could have some new ones. And so to help you guys out, fellas, I'm gonna share my screen as well, just in case, y'all need to, look at some. And so right now, top player in baseball is this guy. Come from overseas, Shohei Ohtani.
A dog.
Dog. AL MVP last year, came from over Japan and just, turning up. But guess who's his second best player?
Your favorite
He
player?
played with him. Mr. Overrated. Mr. Overrated. And I hope, Jamar, we post this because, God damn it, this ticks me off right here. How is he ranked the second best player in baseball? Ain't even played last year, Jamar. Ain't even played last year, Quinn. Maybe you can educate me on why people in baseball just adore this guy like he's a god or something. And he don't win at all. His team suck. All he does is put up stats and then get hurt half the time. But he's ranked second. Fernando Tatis Jr. of the Padres. A lot of people, man, and his bag, by the way, his contract is some lucrative. And so obviously some people like him because he getting paid in the shade, Jamar, big time. Yeah, Juan Soto. I like this guy. He's only 23, y'all.
Yeah,
only 23. One of the best players in baseball. Outfielder for the Nationals. Bryce Harper's ranked number 5. He's overrated to me as well. But he's up there. For somehow they still love this Bryce Harper, Mike Trout thing, and they still just love these guys. And so yes, whatever. He won his second NL MVP award last year, by the way. And so this is Bryce Harper. I like this guy a lot, Mookie Betts. Okay. He's the guy I feel is the most impactful Quinn in baseball because he wins. He does the intangibles. He does the little things, but he's very, very talented. He's not the guy that's going to knock the ball 100 feet like Vladimir Guerrero, which I feel like somebody's going to talk about him shortly. And I'm going to talk, well, anyway. And so with that being said, this guy does all the intangibles. And Quentin, he always ends up somewhere near the damn World Series every year, whatever team he with. I like guys like Mookie Betts. And so, with that being said, fellas, we got Jacob deGrom. We got Vlad at number 8, surprisingly. He was unranked in 2021. Freddie Freeman, who's now with the Dodgers. They got a damn LA they get on my nerves, LA, this big market stuff, and they just back championships, man. And so they got Freddie Freeman, who just won the World Series with the Braves. And then his former teammate, Ronald Acuna Jr., he's at number 10. And so, Q, since you are our guest this morning, can you give us your pick for AL MVP? We will all chime in after you. And then after that, we'll talk about the National League.
Well, I like Junior. Guerrero, Vlad Jr. I mean, Vlad was his father was one of my favorite hitters in the game, especially when I played, right? Him and Barry Bonds. So his son takes the same approach, almost identical swings. They play hard, they swing hard. He already got 5 home runs, I think, already this year. He had a hat trick a couple of days ago. He had 3 home runs in one day after he got his hand stepped on, because he was playing first base. So I think he got 5 home runs now. 3 home runs in one day. Yeah, so he's already done that. He's just an explosive player. If he can stay healthy, and they put him at first base for a reason, so he can stay healthy. So we have to do a lot of running around the outfield and a lot of throwing. So I think he's probably going 40+ home runs if he stay healthy. So that's my pick. I know you're talking about Mike Trout. He just got the face for baseball. Right. Without me going into too much detail, he just got the face for baseball. He's a good player when he's healthy, but he's the face that they want him to keep going with it. All right. Now, as far as that Japanese kid, he just different. So you'll probably never find another player like him, that can do, play on both sides and be impactful. So he's always a threat if healthy. So that's my pick for the AL. NL, it's a toss. I guess I don't have a pick yet. I want to kind of see how it goes with that. It's always these early predictions, but we'll see as the season goes with the NL. I don't know what you guys think about that, but I know in the AL, that's who I'll pick for MVP. This is a Vlad Guerrero.
Yeah, he off to a hell of a start, ain't he? Yeah. So, yep, Jamar, who you got, bro? Like, who you feel right now is your pick for AL MVP?
Yeah, you know I'm about to double down on Vlad, right? Yep. I mean, Q said a lot of the stuff I was going to say, but just to reiterate a couple things, leader in home runs with 5 right now. He did have that 3 against the Bronx Bombers, beat them that day. Batting average right now, I know it's still early, but it's 367, which is still pretty darn good. RBI is at 9. I mean, Toronto is, first in the AL right now. Like I said, it's early, but still, it's just like his stats are meaningful. Like, they're winning games with his numbers. It's not like empty calories, Kirk Cousins, that you mentioned a few minutes ago. Right. I mean, yeah, just watching his dad growing up and then seeing him, it's refreshing, man. I'm enjoying it. I just hope he just continues to improve and have that same impact. His dad was a dog, just like you mentioned. I mean, I'm all for Vlad. I mean, I know Shohei is going to be right there because just like he said, he's different. He's going to like probably breed a whole new generation of type players coming in, trying to do what he's doing. But yeah, I like Vlad this year.
Yeah. Yep. Appreciate that, bro. Ian, who's your pick, bro?
I think those two guys just pretty much said everything I was gonna say. Like he said, watching Vlad, watching his dad, and just watching him, it's like it's a beautiful thing, watching life just come right back around. What they say, history repeats itself. Mm-hmm. You're watching it with Junior. So and my NL pick, it will probably be, I would say.
You know what, Ian, give us a quick second on the NL, bro. We'll get there in a hot second. And so yeah, Vlad, man, he's off to a great start. I'm gonna just make a case. And so sometimes Q, like if I say something like Jamar in and make a case for another thing. And so I'm gonna make a case for Shohei Ohtani. If he could, produce his pitching in the Angels, y'all, this is the thing with the Angels. If they win finally, and Q, you mentioned, right? Mike Trout, right? He got AL MVP how many times, y'all? 3-4 damn times. He got like 3-4 AL MVPs himself. Between these guys, they got multiple AL MVP awards. And you mentioned, Q, he's the face. So they need Mike Trout to be the face. Jamar has stated this to me on various occasions, the same reason. This is why he's always there, because they need him as the face. And primarily, I guess, right, when you go to a baseball game, you see a bunch of Caucasian folks. So it would make sense why he's that face. And so if the Angels win, though, y'all, that's all the faces or the people are waiting for. They're waiting for the Angels to win, Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani with this talent to win. We'll talk about this shortly. And if they win, then these guys will be high on the rankings for the MVP award. They'll be up there with Vlad. But if the Angels win, that's a big question, though, if they win, because Mike Trout does not win. But I feel like with Shohei Ohtani, they don't care in baseball, really, if you win. It's clear. This is why Mike Trout keep getting this award. They really, really legitimately look at it as individual stats, period. And so in this case, Vlad is very strong. But I'm going to go with Shohei Ohtani. I think he is setting the league on fire right now. Part of me wants to go with Mike Trout, but I can't trust his health. He reminds me of Christian McCaffrey. Very talented, but he can't stay healthy, worth a box, always get hurt. And that just always is the case with Mike Trout, sadly, for the last few years. So I'm going to make a case for Shohei Ohtani. But guys, really and legitly, I'm with y'all. I kind of like Vlad here, but I'm going to make a case for Ohtani. And go ahead, bro. Start us out with the NL. And Jamar, you can chime in next, and I'll chime in as well, and maybe we can persuade Q.
The NL, there's a couple. But my two would be probably Mookie Betts as a long shot and Juan Soto. Those would be my two for the NL.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. Jamar, who you got, bro?
I'm gonna go someone different. I'm gonna go with Ronald Acuna. I think last year he almost, had 40-40, as in 40 home runs, 40 stolen bases. He almost accomplished that with Freddie Freeman gone. I mean, if he can, carry this team back to the playoffs and put up similar numbers or even increase those numbers, I feel like he has a legitimate chance of getting it done.
Yeah, man. That's a good one, bro. That's a really good one. I'm gonna go with Fernando Tatis Jr. For the Padres. I think this dude is so talented, y'all. I think he is waiting. He's been waiting. His biggest problem has been injuries. But if he stays healthy, guys, that's the question with him. It's health. If he stays healthy, he'll be likely the NL MVP. It's the same with Mike Trout, damn near. If he stay healthy, he'll be right there too. And so, yeah, I'm gonna go with Fernando Tatis, just because I like their uniform. He's getting a lot of money. This team, they're waiting for this team to win. They picked up what's the guy, Machado, right, y'all? Machado, he's with the Padres. They've made some decent acquisitions for pitching. They just got to win the Padres, just like the Angels, period. And they'll get their accolades, period. And so I'm going to go with Fernando Tatis Jr., fellas. That's my pick. And Q, you still going to wait it out and just see how the season go along, or you don't have an early prediction?
Not with the NL. I do want to say something about the American League, with the two guys from the Angels. Playing, I know as a kid playing baseball, a lot of times people pitch and they play positions, but it's different when you playing, all those games in the major league. So if they overwork that guy, that Japanese guy, he's pitching, then he's in the field, that could cause injury in the long term. So I think, they have to be careful with that. I know the first year it was just exciting because he's almost like the Steph Curry of, baseball. He's like doing something different. Steph Curry started shooting from half court and everybody's doing it. And like you said, it's going to be probably some pitchers will come out they say I can hit too, and then because one thing's for sure, when I played baseball, all of the pitchers thought they can hit. And some of them could, but most of them couldn't. So you probably gonna have pitchers now thinking like, I need to make some more money. Let me get in this cage and get my back right. But you gotta be careful because overworking them can lead to injuries if he's not careful with that, because it's a long, grueling season. So versus like just a position player, like you stick a guy at first base and you stick a guy in right field, it's less injury, less taxing on the body. So by them moving like Vlad to first base, I guess they see something going. Now the other side, I know I said I didn't have an NL pick, but you got two guys, Vlad Jr., his father played in the pros, and Tatis, his father played in the pros too at third base. I don't know if you guys knew that.
Really? Okay, word.
Yeah. So that's, you got two guys that been around the game since kids. So now they in the pros doing big things. So that's always that's always a plus. They've been around the game. They've been around great coaches and hitters, and look what they're doing. It's not surprising that their talent is the way it is.
For sure, man. For sure, absolutely. That's thank you, Q, for all that information, man. And so, I never knew that. It makes sense. He's a junior. His dad played. Okay. And so, yeah, you're right, man. This may be what happened with Mike Trout when you think about it, right? Think about it, guys. Like, he got off to a hot, scorching start. But he's been injured lately, And so, yeah. But on the other hand, just imagine with this guy, Tony, he's doing both. And so he could really be worn out. And that could lead to injuries and other things. And so, very interesting, man, for sure. We'll see, man. And so This brings up another question, Q. With baseball, and with this Angels team, and I'm down for this conversation here because the Angels have two of the top two players in baseball. Okay, they don't win. They don't. But I just would like to make the point, Q, and maybe y'all can educate me here. Because in baseball, it could be a little different. I feel like in any sport, if you got the top two players on your team, you should be somewhere near championship. You should be somewhere near the championship, somewhere. You should be in the playoffs for sure. This team doesn't go near the playoffs. So what is the rightful expectations for this team? Should it be, since they got the top two players in baseball, that they should be near, or we should consider them as championship contenders? Or should we just go ahead and go with the statement that, oh, these are the top two players in baseball and it matters about the team rather than individual players? So
Well, in
how do you
baseball,
feel about that, Q? And then Jamar, you jump in and then end. Go ahead, Q.
baseball is so individual. So even though it's a team and you got 9 players on the field, but everybody's holding their own on their own, on that first base, second, you holding your own. You out there by yourself. You got to feel the ground ball by yourself. The ball, zooming past you at 90 miles an hour. The ball is scorching off the bat. You smell the wood burning. I mean, everything. So even if you got 2 best players on the team, you also need a good bullpen. You also need some good utility players. You also have to sometimes have a good, farm system to get guys called up if needed be, because it's a long season. People got nagging injuries. A lot of times with any sport, they play through injuries, but and we criticize them and say, man, what's wrong with him? But he's been nagging a hamstring injury the whole season, or his arm is, he's probably due for surgery, but he's still playing. So it's a long, grueling season. So you need everybody to play a position, versus like basketball. You have a 12-man, rotation, and you got 2 or 3 of the top players in the league. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but most likely
Most cases it does, right?
Yeah, but baseball has so many different components to it. You need like good pitching, some good hitters, but and some defensively strong people in the field. So it's a little bit different when it comes to baseball, in my experience with that.
Yeah, interesting. Jamar, how do you feel, bro?
I mean, at least, at minimum have some, meaningful baseball in September, at least be in contention, right? I mean, like the website stated, and like the consensus is, you got the top 2 players in baseball. I get it. Like, you got to have other components, just like, in a lot of other sports, you got to have other components. But, if you have somebody of, generation talent like Mike Trout and somebody that's just one of one, and Shohei Ohtani is like, your impact on the game, it just got to be more, especially, with a franchise that has basically overpaid guys and hasn't produced in so long. I mean, I'm looking back at Albert Pujols, like that man was a machine with the Cardinals. He gets to LA and is like
disappears.
Yeah, the old man.
Yeah.
and they paid for what he did and not what he was going to do, and that was just a bad contract all the way around. So look, I get it. You're in a division with Houston, cheating or not cheating, that team, is solid. They're always there, but like, how come they can't be competing with the Athletics, the Mariners? I mean,
Right.
the Rangers. The Rangers. Come on. I mean, Rangers haven't really been relevant since Josh Hamilton, and then before that, Alex Rodriguez. At least he took them to the playoffs.
Yeah, well, yeah, they went to the World Series twice. Remember with what was the guy with the glasses, the manager, the black guy? He was a great manager. He led them to the World Series twice. And bringing up the Angels, Shamar, that brings up a pain, because remember they supposed to won that World Series against the Cardinals, and they blew it in Game 6. They were like 1 out away and just blew it. It was so sad. That was really sad.
No, it was, but like ultimately, like they gotta play meaningful baseball in September. At least do that.
Yeah, man. All that talent. You right. Man, you can't beat the Rangers, the Mariners. Yeah. But go ahead, and
I think those two guys hit it on the head. I mean, thinking about it, I mean, having the greatest players on your team doesn't always mean championships or instant success. Only in basketball, really. We only really see that in basketball. I mean, it's pretty rare in any other sport. Football, baseball. It's more of a you kind of need to be solid in every aspect on your roster, even with coaching and everything. You just need to be solid everywhere. So, I mean, we can look at their roster and say, yeah, they should be winning, which they should. I'm not saying that they shouldn't. They should, but it's sometimes you just need it everywhere. You just need to be solid everywhere, in my opinion.
yeah, yep. And
A good, sorry about that.
go ahead, Q.
A good example of that is the Yankees. They spend, even though they have passed the winning championships, but they haven't won in a while. But they spend so much money on their roster, and it doesn't all the way always lead to World Series.
Yep.
So because and since they did spend that much money on these top players, they have no money to bring in good relief pitching, utility players, and so
Right. Utility players, that's big, Q. Like hungry guys.
Yeah, it's so top heavy that and that's probably with the Angels. They give these guys so much money that they kind of run dry and they hold these guys in these big long contracts. It's different. People now they want 10-year contracts, and they don't want these short-term 1 or 2 year deals. They want long-term for $200 million, $250 million, and honestly, the teams don't even probably have the money. They just looking at over the years, they will get the money from that, from other concessions or whatever the case. But so they don't have money to spend on other aspects and other positions that they're weaker on. So that sometimes hinders teams. But as long, I guess a lot of times, as long as they selling tickets and the crowd is staying full, just like our good old Bears, hey, it's a win.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you do have teams that's owners that are just more focused on their bottom line. Like take for instance the Athletics and that whole Moneyball deal, right? Like they didn't want to spend money, so they had to get really creative to even be a contending team. So it is other obstacles out there that a lot of people may not identify right away that put these teams in these positions, but it's like still all I can say is like just be relevant and do everything in your power to, try to make the team as relevant as possible with the situation that you're in.
Yeah, yep. And it's 2-1 in Q's favor, but Jamar got you, bro. Like, God damn it, you got Mike Trout, you got Shohei Ohtani. Mike Trout, you've been losing long enough. All this money you get, you talk about the contracts he get. This man get 300. He had one of the biggest contracts in history, right? Until somebody overcame him, right, Jamar? Like, right, fellas? Yeah. Like, he had the biggest contract in MLB history. He's the face, all this stuff. The face of a sport, y'all, supposed to be in the playoffs. Period. If you're the face of a sport, you supposed to be in the playoffs. Period, man. Like, this man has gotten all these individual accolades. Jonathan Abernathy, he got mad at me, y'all. He got pissed off that I told him about Mike Trout. He got pissed off. And Jonathan Abernathy, Quinn, is a big baseball fan. He got pissed off. Oh, man. He got pissed off. And so I'm like, yeah, he needs to win, period. And so, Jamar, I'm with you, man. Like, you got the top 2 players in baseball. You in LA. They got all this money. They brought in some good talent this year, y'all. Some great pitching, okay? Some nice guys that can hit the ball. It's no excuse for the Angels. It's time to show. And period. You in LA. The Dodgers is running LA. Nobody even, nobody really even put no expectations on the Angels. And I'm like, seriously? Like, really? If this was the Lakers with LeBron James, we'd be, oh man, this should be a LA showdown. And Q, that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm putting it out here right now in the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, y'all. With Shohei, and yeah, look up, Jamar. With Shohei Ohtani, with Mike Trout, and with the Dodgers, with Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, and all those guys, I want to see a damn World Series between the LA Dodgers and the LA Angels. This should be the World Series with all this talent that's in LA with the Angels, period. And I'm putting that out there. LA Angels, LA Dodgers, Quentin. That's what I want to see. And that's what we should see in the World Series if you got the top two players in baseball, period.
Sounds
Yeah.
good.
I mean, it should be. I mean, all that damn money the Angels got. You kidding me? Like, this should totally be the norm. Like, why don't people want to talk about this? Like, all this money, really? Mike Trout, all these accolades. Come on, man. Like,
Ooh-wee.
we should be talking about this stuff.
Yeah, but you know that doesn't always equate to championship though. We see that in multiple sports. Yeah, like Quentin said, like with the Yankees, you know, that don't always accumulate to wins, and you know.
They get to the playoffs though. They getting there to ALCS. They in the playoffs.
They gotta stay
The
healthy.
Yankees ain't never not in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean,
And they got the Red Sox and the Blue Jays and the Devil Rays in their division.
I
And the
gotta agree
AL
with you.
East is the best division in baseball, really.
I agree with you, Brandon, on that part of it. You know, they have to get to the playoffs, but with LA Dodgers just being a historical, you know, good team in LA, it's no high expectations on the Angels. You know,
They overshadowed.
yeah, and you know, San Francisco, you know, minus Barry Bonds, has never really had, you know, expectations. So it's always been the Dodgers to win. So, you know, but if the Dodgers moved or they moved to another city, then, you know, the spotlight would be on them. But it's not really you know, it's just exciting to see two players, you know, putting up, you know, video game numbers. That's what it is. It's exciting to see that, but there's no expectation of winning. But in a while, you know, they're gonna have to prove that, you know, they worth either they're gonna have to, you know, take some kind of lower pay cut to get other players in, or move some people around, either or, if they want to win over there. That's just how it goes. But I don't think it's immediate 911. The media, ESPN, everybody not putting pressure on them to win. So it's just exciting to see just two good players put up crazy numbers right now.
And that's crazy, Q, because if they win Chicago, man, we be screaming.
Tear them up.
We be screaming a World Series, man. You ain't no way you could tell me like with the Sox roster, y'all, and just say those two guys is on the Cubs, Q. Oh man, we be screaming, yeah, World Series, World Series. But it's like in LA, man, like I guess they don't care.
You overshadowed.
Yeah.
Yeah, they overshadow big time. Go ahead, Jamar.
no, I mean that's true. Like Dodgers are the main team in LA, Anaheim second, just like the Yankees are the main team in New York, Mets second.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, the Cubs are the main team here, and White Sox second. It's just the way it is.
Did you say White Sox second?
I mean,
man.
just for the general public. I mean, people
with the
in
Sox shirt
America.
on.
Yeah, take that hat off.
I mean,
he gonna say he turned it backwards.
I'm just saying, like across America, like the Cubs are the main team here.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
they're the favorites. Yeah, you're right about that.
And that's whack, man. Like, you know, all the Cubs do is give you a good experience. We all, you know, live in Chicago. Like,
They're a tourist
Cubs
attraction.
just, yeah. You go up there, get drunk, go to Wrigleyville, you know, stuff like that. Like, White Sox, you know, white folks be in. Come on, we gotta get on the train, buddy. Go straight to the stadium and leave. All right, we gotta go. Like, you know, it ain't nothing more, nothing less. Get on the train, right? You get your ass to the stadium. After you get there, you go right back to your car or the train and go.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys been over Valley Wrigley lately, but they got a whole circus attraction over there now. It's just, they
Yeah, it
spend
looks-
so much money. I mean, it's a good hangout. Like Jamal was saying, first it's a historic, you know, ballpark. Secondly, it's a good time. And I honestly, you know, I grew up on the South Side, so I'm more with the White Sox. But honestly, I like going to the Cubs game a little bit more. It's just exciting.
Yeah.
Whether they win or lose, you're gonna have a good time. You know, just
Experience.
because of everything. Yeah, just because of everything. But and do we expect the Cubs to win? Probably not. They champion the World Series, and I mean, we might not see nothing until we get old. But
Yeah.
just a good experience. So it's crazy. They're not expected to win, but they're favorites. Dodgers are expected to win, and they usually higher up there. So different markets, I guess.
Yeah, definitely, man. And like, yeah, you say the Cubs ain't expected to win. If Chris Ford was on here and Jonathan Abernathy, they be going damn crazy. Like, we're 4-2. Like they making posts already. Like
They always
Cubs fans, they some man. They win 3 games, man, and you got all type of posts.
The last couple of years, the Cubs did tease us. They started off hot, and they just let the bottom out. They traded everybody away. That pissed me off last year, and they just let everybody just go for whatever reason. I guess they didn't think they had enough to win with that team. Now they just starting all the way over, so it's gonna be hard for them to win. And people don't necessarily want to come to Chicago because it's too much pressure. It's like the Bulls. You won't probably get a top guy because it's pressure. People from Chicago are hard on you when you're not winning. It's like you better do something now or we're getting you out of here. So it's with the White Sox. It's not a lot of pressure, but they still win. It's not the same amount of pressure as Chicago fans give the White Sox versus the Cubs, but Chicago had a winning record last year. I would be surprised if the Cubs they break 500.
Right.
Yeah, Chris Ford and them want to hear this morning. But yeah, they are very excited, man. They 4-2, and you can't tell them none right now. You can't tell them none. And so yeah, speaking of y'all, perfect segue. And this will be our final point of conversation, fellas, before we talk about your book, Q. Let's keep it Chicago here. White Sox. Let's end with the White Sox, fellas. Q, what are your expectations for the White Sox this season? We've been to the playoffs. We lost to the Athletics, right, in the first round during the COVID year. Won that first game. We all right, that's the right step in the right direction. Last year we won a game. We lost in 4 games to the eventual AL champion Houston Astros. And so, just curious, Q, what's the expectations for the Sox this year? Is it playoffs? Is it at least the ALCS? Is it the World Series? How do you feel about the Sox this season?
I think they added a few more players, a few pitchers this year. So I think playoffs, maybe, hopefully they can get deeper in. But it's still early. Baseball is so early in the year. It's hard to say, I want the White Sox to do great, but I think at least the playoffs. If they don't get to the playoffs, it's a bad year. That's what every team should be thinking. But I think they got some tools. Hopefully, Jose stays healthy and Tim Anderson shows up again this year, and they can keep a healthy pitching. One thing always about the White Sox, they always have a good farm team, so they're always able to bring people from AA baseball and bring them right up, and they usually do pretty good. So they always been known historically to have a good farm system. So we'll see, but at least definitely the playoffs. Maybe the second and third round, we'll see how it goes. So.
Yeah, and that second round would be the ALCS. And so I'm with you. I need the Sox to progress. I need them to, at the least, if they lose in the first round, I need it to be a series. Last week, Q, we rolled, man. We rolled. We got to talking about Tony La Russa, who is the current manager of the White Sox. And Jamar, since day one, has not been happy. You can tell him, Jamar, why you are not happy with Tony. You can tell him, man, why you are not happy with Tony La Russa being hired as the White Sox manager. So go ahead, Jamar.
It was like putting a square peg in a round hole. It don't fit. it doesn't fit. The polar opposites is him and Tim Anderson. That's completely 2 different players. I mean, 2 different people rather. It's just him being almost 80 years old with this new team, this younger team. It doesn't fit. It just doesn't. Personally, I've been saying Tim Anderson's the real manager of that team. I just feel like they probably respond better to him than Tony La Russa at this point. And then also, supposed to be the manager, the leader of men out here getting DUIs even before like the season even starts. Like, what are you doing? Like, do you even really care? So that's my beef with that. It don't make sense.
Man. Remember he got the DUI, Jamar, before he was hired.
Yeah,
Like,
I think right before he was hired.
Yeah. It was like, I'm like, damn, like, he emerged as a leading candidate, but like, but the Sox still pulled the trigger on him.
Yeah.
So
Stupid.
yeah, I mean, one thing we know, y'all, is the White Sox are a winning team, and so they're winning. The question is, and Ian and Jamar kind of hit on this, is he enough to get us over the top, Q?
Yeah.
Like, we firmly believe and know that we'll likely be in the playoffs. That's what we believe. But the question is can we be competitive in the playoffs? Can we make that next step? Like we don't want to be the LA Clippers Lob City. We don't want to be the Sacramento Kings with Chris Webber. Well, they went to the conference finals at least and won 7 games.
Yeah,
like,
get over
like we want to be like a team that's competitive, you know what I'm saying, that gets it done. We want to be James Harden, you know what I'm saying, without KD, like Russell Westbrook without, we want to make sure we get to that next level. And that's what we're kind of looking forward to with the Sox. Ian, what you think, man? Like, you agree, like, when it comes to the Sox and the expectations, or?
Yeah, I agree. We kind of expected them to go to the playoffs. Like Q and Jamal, like you guys stated, it's a marathon, the season of marathon. So it's still early, and they had a pretty good year last year. But you're always looking for them to take that next step. Got to take that next step. Hopefully La Russa gets us over, but I don't know. Like Jamar said, it might be kind of I feel like from the outside looking in, it might be a disconnect. But I don't know what goes on in that, in the clubhouse. So hopefully he gets us over. Hopefully this be our year that he gets us over. But we'll see. It's a long season. Hopefully we stay pretty healthy and we'll have a good one, man.
White Sox win the World Series this year. That's gonna hurt Cubs fans' feelings because they were like, all that money y'all spend, all the attractions, and you telling me little old White Sox. And so I hope that's boiling the Sox blood this year. I swear I hope it's boiling their blood. And they looking to take that next step for real. And so Q, thank you, bro, for chopping it up with us this morning, man. We truly appreciate your time. And we'll give you this time to just educate us on your book, man. This is what the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast is. We are a support center, man. And we want to make sure that, we do what we can for educating ourselves and educating others as well. And so tell us about Rhino Abs, man. Like, what is Rhino Abs? How did you come about it? How does it help us, etc.?
Okay, cool. Appreciate y'all giving me the spotlight on it. But I played sports my whole life. Just like a lot of you guys on this podcast here. And I noticed though, after most guys, they finish playing football, basketball, they got their glory stories of what they used to be. But nobody maintains, that physical condition of staying in shape of the way they used to play, because, when you used to play college or high school sports, you used to eat like crazy. Your metabolism was crazy. You really gained weight. But when you got a little older, you're probably not eating as much, and you probably know it's like, damn, where's this weight coming from? I'm in the gym, I'm working out, but what I noticed is the way people eat. You're not giving our bodies, the nutrition it needs to sustain that weight. So, I've in the past, you guys didn't know, I just made 40, and I'm probably in better shape now, than I was in my, early 30s and, probably in my 20s, because now I know how to condition my body and know what to eat. So our body needs certain fuels, it needs certain, and not to go into so much detail, but your body needs X amount of carbs, fats, proteins, and calories in order to get to a goal weight. So I give you an example. Before I was measuring macronutrients, so macros is fats, carbs, proteins, and calories. Before I was doing that, I would just, be guessing. So I go work out in the gym. I go home, eat 5 eggs, go eat some kind of protein meat of choice, maybe, oatmeal or something like that and thinking, you know, okay, I'm cool. But I didn't know one egg was 5 grams of fat. So if I'm eating 5 eggs, that's 25 grams of fat just in eggs. The meat, you know, if it was a steak or something like that, that was high protein, but probably a high, you know, another 20 grams or so in fat in the meats. And so that's 30 or 40 grams of fat just in breakfast. So I'm wondering like why I can't get abs. Well, it's because I got a high fat diet, you know. And you know, that's just breakfast. Then you go to lunch and you're eating, you know, some potatoes, or a bunch of carbs and stuff, and then you dinner. So I was eating probably over 100 grams of fat a day, not knowing. And I'm working out in the gym, doing a bunch of ab crunch exercises, and I'm wondering why I can't, you know, why I can't see my abs. So when I when I started paying attention to that, you know, I started getting to macronutrients and knowing like how much fat and carbs and you know and calories I'm supposed to have in my diet. It's easier for me to, you know, reveal and show abs. Because honestly, it's one thing of being country strong and lifting a bunch of weights, but when you get older, you want to see the results. You want to see those abs. You want to see those cuts, because that's what we're here for. We're not in there just to, you know, just to be strong, because we all probably can lift pretty good. But now it's like, hey, when you go outside and you go on a vacation, if you take your shirt off, that's what it's really about now. Not just, you know, I'm strong, because you know it's a lot of people that look strong and with their clothes on, they look nice, you know. And then some guys that don't look big, but when they take their shirts off, you know, you be like, whoa, I didn't know you ripped like that.
Right.
So that's the look that I, when I talk to people, that's what we more want now versus just being physically strong. So my books talks about the importance of, you know, why proteins are important, why fats, why carbs, why calories, you know, and you got to know your limit with that. So now I train a bunch of, you know, because right now I'm not competitive as I used to be anymore, because you know, I've just kind of stopped doing, but I've trained a lot of boxers, professional boxers, kickboxers, and most of it is how to get more athletic and how to eat right to get their body to peak performance. So the book talks a lot about that, you know, and it's not a big topic. You know, people don't talk about foods as much. We all know they always say 80% in the kitchen and 20% training, but nobody knows what the 80% is and what that looks like. And you need, and your body type is different from others based on what you want to do, because there's 3 different type of body types, you know, when you're looking at, you know, human form. But you need to know like how much you need to get to your goal weight. So I give you a quick example. I'm 6'2", you know, and I'm 215 pounds, 218 pounds right now. For me to stay at this weight, I know I need 2,100 calories, 200 grams of protein a day, 65 grams of fat, and 180 carbs for me to stay at this weight. If I want to get smaller, I know what to do. If I want to get bigger, I know what to do. Right? I just add and take. So me eating like that every day, it's easy for me to be at my weight goal versus me trying to lose 20 or 30 pounds to get ready for the summer. Right? It's easy for me because I'm eating the same amounts, and my metabolism is leveled off because my body is just eating the same amounts every day. So when I make a switch and I say I want to eat 1,900 calories now, my body knows the difference when it of that 200 less calories a day to drop down to 210 or 205 if I want to do that. Right. So the book talks about, you know, why foods are important. So that's helped a lot of people out because nobody really understands that part of it. We try to do these keto or fasting or water diets. And those things are not sustainable, you know, in my opinion. I see a lot of people that do it, they lose the weight, but after they get off those fasts, they just put the weight right back on because it's not sustainable over a period of time. Right? It's a quick fix. Yeah.
Wow.
So
Yeah. Wow, Q. We proud of you, man, on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast.
Question.
Go ahead, Jamar.
Hey, so where can I get the book?
okay. You can I'll put the link. Well, I don't know if you guys can drop it or if I can, but you can go ripkitchenabs.com and you can find it there. You can download there. I got 2 books in there. I got a bonus book. One is Rhino Abs in the Kitchen. I put a bonus ebook as well on it. It's Fundamentals of Fitness. It's also a book about before you start training, you need to know like routines and fundamentals, fitness goals, and setting realistic goals. So I actually add that book on as well. So it's a 2-for-1 thing. But you can go to my website and download the link and hopefully it helps you out with whatever fitness goal you are. I'm not against any diet, just so you know. If you vegan, if you keto, whatever you vegetarian, your body still needs X amount of macronutrients for you to get to your body goal, right? So I give you something real quick. If you're not eating enough protein in your diet, and you only eating a lot of fats and carbs in your diet, how do your muscles grow if you're not eating a lot of protein? Because protein is what builds your muscles. So a lot of times we miss out on certain parts of the food charts. We're not getting enough protein, so our muscles don't grow. We're not getting enough carbs, so we're always tired, right? We're not getting enough calories. We're not getting enough fats in our diet, healthy fats. So you need all those things for it to be able to grow. And it doesn't matter about your age or you think you're slowing down because you're getting a 40 or 50 or whatever the case. It's about how you feed your body and maintain it. So it's helped me. And it's helped me and helped a lot of people that I've trained. But also, it's something that you can do and it's realistic versus trying to try a 30-day, fasting or a 30-day, challenge, as people say. They get on these challenges and it works for a period of time and then it doesn't. So.
Right. And Q, can you give me that website one more time? I want to put it here on the Zoom link for the guys, and I want to put it on the live video, and I'm gonna put it on the page as well. So go ahead. I'm ready when you are.
You want me to put it in the chat?
I can put it in the chat box for you if you want me to.
Okay. You can go to www. Let's see. Download it real quick.
All right, take your time. So yes, everybody, this is Rhino Ives in the kitchen, and I'm definitely the Cheeto guy, Q.
Yeah, that's cool. You can go to ripkitchenabs.com, RIPPED kitchenabs.com.
All right, www.ripkitchenabs.com.
You got it right there. Keto is good too. I know a lot of people that's on keto. Sometimes I don't.
No, not ketos, Quinn. I said Cheetos.
Cheetos. Oh, okay.
Cheetos.
Wow.
Cheetos.
Wow.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Let me tell you. So I like donuts. I like chips and stuff like that, right? So I know I have 65 grams of fat to eat per day. I know this. When I cheat, I make sure it counts. Right? So if I eat one donut, Dunkin' Donuts, my blueberry is my favorite. I know that one donut is 320 grams of calories and 17 grams of fat. So I got 65 grams of fat to eat, and 17 of it is gonna be that donut. The rest of the day, I'm kind of taking it a little easy, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I know I'm gonna eat a bag of Cheetos, they got 20 grams of fat for one little small bag. I'm gonna weigh my options. Do I want this piece of cake or do I want this donut? So that's kind of how I,
This is exactly how I do it, bro. I don't abuse it like people think I do. I just have it in a very, very strict moderation.
Yeah. So you gotta pick your poison. Losing weight and getting in shape is just a math equation. A little bit less of that, do a little bit more of this, and you get to, your weight goal over a period of time. It's not people want to rush the process and think losing, 30 pounds in a month is, the goal. It's not realistic. You should probably be setting more realistic goals to maybe losing 5 or 7 pounds a month, and progress over a period of time. Because what if you lose 1 pound a week? Can you afford to lose 50 pounds in a year, Brandon? I don't know if I could.
That's a lot.
That's
what I mean?
Big drop off.
If you look at it like that, if it's like, oh man, I gotta lose weight fast. But if you lost 1 pound a week, that's a lot of weight, So you gotta just set a realistic goal for yourself to, and something to be sustainable. And once you get to your weight goal, by you maintaining your food levels, by what the book talks about, now you can, now you can just stay at that weight goal. Like I'm cool at 215. I don't want to get bigger. I don't want to really get smaller. If I wanted to, when I was getting ready for something, it'd be easy for me to do it, because I know what to do. So the educational is more important than anything, just like with anything else. Once you know what to do, it's easy to get to it. So once I learned that, I now teach people how to do the same thing.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Yes. And so with that being said, Q, man, we thank you this morning on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. I got me a couple copies, y'all, of the book, and I've been reading it. I'm working on it now. I'm on page 27. And so thank you, Q. I'm getting good advice, man. We all getting good advice that'll sustain us for a lifetime, not just while we're young, but while we're older. And so thank you, man. We truly appreciate your time, man, here on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. It was a blessing. It was a wonderful conversation, chopping it up with you. And thank you for your time, man. And so as we head out, we always like to ask our guests, and me, Jamar, and to chime in. We do what's called final thoughts and shout outs, Q. And so just as you head into this weekend, as you head into this time, any final thoughts or shout outs as we head into the weekend?
Stouts fine. I mean, shout outs. Hopefully the Bulls make us look. Hopefully they surprise us all. And turn this thing around. But also for everybody else that's celebrating, Resurrection Sunday, peace and blessings to you. So I would say that too. Have a safe weekend for everybody.
All right, bro. Any final thoughts or shout outs as we head into the weekend?
Shout out to Q for joining us today and bringing the knowledge, especially with the diet and the workout book. I'm gonna actually check it out myself.
And any final thoughts or shout outs as we head into the weekend, bro?
Yeah, shout out to Q. Dope conversation today. Always a pleasure with you guys. Let me see. Any thoughts? Rest in peace. Dwayne Haskins lost his life last weekend. Prayers out to his family. They lost a son, brother, cousin, a husband. So prayers to his family and everybody involved. And happy Easter, man. Everybody have a great weekend, a blessed weekend for sure.
Yep. Yeah. Thank you, fellas. Have a blessed Resurrection Sunday. Have a great weekend, everybody. In the church as of today, it was the day before Jesus got out of that tomb. He came out and married them. They did their welfare check and they're like, where's Jesus? He resurrected. He risen at that time. And so, yes, may you all have a blessed Resurrection Sunday. Q, thank you for joining us on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. Blessings upon you and your ministry. And blessings to my brothers, Ian and Jamar. I thank you both for your time. Everybody have a safe weekend, a blessed weekend. Be easy. Live life, love life. And thank you all for chopping it up with us this morning on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. Peace.
Thanks, fellas.